Well, that team showed up. Yes, the one that scores runs, the one that scores more than 3 runs, and the one with Jacob Melton, who really hit the ball well tonight. Isak joined into the party of just getting another series in the first road series win in a long time. Let's talk about it right now.
Jainel Diaz, this is Locked On Astros.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Astros, your daily Astros podcast. Here are your hosts, Eric the Man Huysman and Brett H-Town Wheelhouse Chancey.
We are Locked On Houston Astros, and we update you joins for a daily Locked On Astros podcast. My name is Eric Huysman. You can find me on X at Eric Talkstros. Find the show at Locked On Astros, your team every day. Brett, where should they find you at?
They can find me at H-Town Wheelhouse on X, Instagram, and TikTok at Stros411 on X and on Facebook and Instagram, and Back to the Bullpen on X, on Instagram, on iHeartRadio, wherever you get your podcast. You know me. You know where to find me. I'm always positive, always Stros.
Hey guys, thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day, whether it's on YouTube. Go ahead, subscribe to us, make us your first listen. Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcasts, go and make us your first listen. Between us, we have 16 years of podcasting experience between Sports Talk 790 with Talking Stros with me, and Brett does an awesome podcast with Mike Stanton. I think we're both tired right now, but Mike Stanton, back to the bullpen. But guys, today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can get $200 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. So, Brett, I think that we thought this was going to be early game. We could get to bed early, but a 3-hour rain delay kind of washed that away. But the Astros do get the victory. You had some big hitting by Jacob Melton and Framber Valdez. He continues to, let's just say, throw the curveball and just to the competition, and the offense explodes. And there's just so much to talk about on this podcast. And it's one of those where you enjoy the fact that you stayed up for this. But breaking news, for the first time all season, the Astros have a 1.5 lead in the AL West.
That's right. And it's their first series win since they beat the Twins, I think. I heard earlier on the broadcast. That is amazing. You love to see it because, Eric, here when we were talking yesterday, the conversation actually was this morning. The conversation was about this offense going up and down, up and down. And the Astros actually, I heard on the radio, have the most wins after a loss than anybody in Major League Baseball this year. I don't know if that's something you want to keep having to do, but when this team scores 3 runs or less, they're not successful. When they score 4 runs or more, they're successful, and that's what they did tonight. And with games that are rain delayed, you knew they weren't going to not forfeit the game. You know they weren't going to postpone the game because the last time they played Pittsburgh this year in Pittsburgh, it's not a division opponent, so you don't get an extra chance to do a doubleheader. So you always wonder how a starter is going to come out. You know, typically guys that go on the mound and they have to wait 2 or 3 hours to get out there, it kind of throws things off. And then you end up having a bullpen game, and it ends up being a weird outing. And it absolutely was not a weird outing. And I know in the last segment we're set up to talk about Framber Valdez, but the rain, like you said here, did not wash away the Astros' chances. And you love the fact that they took 2 out of 3 from a team that, yes, they should have won 3. They should have swept, but we know what happens with this offense. And so it was definitely good for them to get away to Cleveland with a victory.
Well, the reason why I put that is actually before the game, I think that Dana Brown was a little bit upset that the Astros had to play this game because the umpires and the managers got on the field. It was still raining at the time. I believe this was close to 7 or 8 o'clock. And I know I was paying attention to X, and they basically said that, well, it seems like there's a very heated argument. We don't know what's being discussed right now, but you can imagine it's raining, Brett. And here comes Dana Brown onto the field, and Dana Brown is arguing. And so I think that they were kind of pissed off with the fact that the umpires were going to play this game with the radar. The radar still looked like it was going to be bad. It was still raining at that time. It didn't look like there's anything it wasn't going to clear up at the time. And they had their ace on the mound. And there's nothing worse than having Framber Valdez go out there, trip in some mud or whatever happens, something like that. So that probably was what they were talking about. I don't know exactly what was going on, but Dana Brown was really upset. And by the time this he got to the mound, the other manager already was going to dugout, and it was basically decided, hey, we're gonna play ball. We're gonna play at 10 o'clock Eastern time. And they played, and I'm glad that the Astros did play because the Astros got the victory. But at one point, it didn't seem like they were wanting to play.
You know how you mentioned the other day there was a really short game, and you're like, this is Chandler Rome's favorite game. Well, I retweeted a post. Chandler Rome put a picture of the field with the tarp and just with the phrase, kill me. He was so furious. I guarantee that he was sitting there just upset. And I put a fake quote as if him and McTaggart were in the press box, and I put, oh man, Chandler Rome is having a blast, and he looks at Brian McTaggart and says, it's days like this. I mean, look, I get it. These guys go on the road, I mean, they also have to take a plane. They have to get rest. They have to write stories. They have to do all this stuff afterwards. So, I mean, it affects everybody, even the TV crew. The TV crew's got to get out there. It affects us. We know how that goes. But yeah, I mean, look, you understand where the GM is fighting for his players. It becomes a safety issue. And I'm sorry, if after 2020 you build a stadium and it doesn't have a roof on it, I think you should forfeit the game. I think maybe you should just give up the game. Put a roof on it, man. Do something. Come on. Like, really, weather shouldn't be an issue in 2025. But it's baseball. That's the good old game of baseball. And we got the game played. And despite Roberto Clemente's legend in Pittsburgh, the Astros got the win. So you got to love that.
Well, speaking of Chandler Rome, here was his tweet after game. The Astros won 8-2. They are 34-28. Framber Valdez struck out 11. Jacob Melton got 2 hits. Isaac Paredes' second home run prevented Josh Hader from pitching. They waited 3 hours and 22 minutes for that. So basically, that was him complaining about the long rain delay there. So, yes, it's as a reporter, I'm sure it was kind of a long wait. I know there's a whole lot of Astros fans there, and you heard them like screaming and chanting for Jose Altuve and cheering when the Astros scored their first run there. But they were glad that it didn't get postponed. And we're going to talk about the big guy that behind this win. Yes, it was Framber Valdez, but Jacob Melton, he's making his presence felt so far. So, guys, thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day.
Look, I will tell you this. I am not necessarily a coffee connoisseur, but I know good coffee when I have it. And right now, you can get 50% off your 1-month trial at drinktrade.com/lockedonmlb. Coffee isn't just a drink. It's a ritual, it's a lifeline, and it's a thing that gets you from half asleep to fully functioning. And if it's that essential, why settle for just anything amazing? I got my first bag of Trade coffee, and let me tell you, not only was the aroma unreal, but the coffee, the taste, it's fresh. When it gets to your door, it's like they just ground it up and they just harvested the beans right outside your house. So Trade Coffee is the #1 coffee destination in the U.S., delivering fresh, incredible coffee from over 50 of the country's top roasters. And you can get a subscription. What you do is you take a small quiz, you taste it, you smell it. If you like it, then you know what? You can keep it. If you don't like it, they'll exchange it for something else. So right now, Trade is exclusively offering our customers 50% off your 1-month trial at drinktrade.com/lockedonmlb. That's TRADE.com/lockedonmlb for 50% off your 1-month trial. Go today.
Hey guys, thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day. Whether it's on YouTube, go ahead, subscribe to us. Make us first listen on Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcasts. Go and check us out. And Brett, somebody has a little message for you. Hello, go ahead and vote for me. I'm going to be your starting all-star second baseman.
Second baseman.
Second baseman, not left fielder.
Jose.
Second baseman. Wait,
I did.
How many times have you played second base? Well, not that many. I've played more in left field, but I don't have a chance of making all-star team in left field. So they're going to go ahead and put me down as a second baseman.
Hey, I voted for him already like 15 times or 10 times. How many ever times I've done it since, all-star ballots. I voted him as my second baseman. He's my only homer vote. I did give Jeremy Pena my vote. I did give Isaac Paredes my vote. And actually this time around, my second time around, I gave Jake Myers a vote. Although I don't think Jake Myers is a top 3 outfielder, I think he deserves his druthers. I think he deserves his flowers because he's having a great year. But if anything, I mean, very minimum, at the bare minimum of position players, Jeremy Pena and Isaac Paredes, the left side of that Astros infield, all-star worthy for sure.
So I know you mentioned Jake Myers. He's having a pretty good season. The Astros have struggled to find left fielders to complement Jake Myers and Jose Altuve. Jacob Melton has kind of risen to the occasion recently. He's been somebody that the Astros have been coveting for a couple of years. He's got the speed. He's got the power. He plays some great defense. Injuries have kind of held him back, definitely to start this year, a little bit for the past couple of seasons. But for the most part, he looks like he's a guy that the Astros can play have at the major league level. But today he did something he's done. I don't think he scored a run this year. This was the first time he scored a run, I believe. This was also the first time that he drove in some runs. So first RBI. So a lot of firsts in this game. And he also had his first stolen base. So
he did
a lot of first in today's game for Jacob Melton.
Yeah, man, 3 hard hit balls. He got to second on one of them. I thought it was considered a double, but it wasn't. Jeremy Pena had 2 doubles tonight. Look, man, you had Jacob Melton going 2 for 4. The kid looks good in the field, Eric. His glove has looked phenomenal. His speed is outstanding. And like was mentioned earlier from one of our viewers that look, just yesterday he was at Oregon State playing college baseball. Now he is a Houston Astro and he's looking to make a difference. And this is a kid that if you can get this guy going, that takes some strain and stress off the other players. Right. Christian Walker did just get a single tonight. He's still scrapping a little bit with 2 strikeouts. You need to see that go down quite a bit. Cam Smith broke a streak of 0 for 15, I believe, tonight. But this offense overall looked a whole lot better than it did yesterday, because yesterday they couldn't. The Pirates could have given them runs and the Astros would have said, no, we don't want them. I mean, it was that anemic last night.
Yeah, basically they won the game they should have lost, and they lost the game they should have won. But that's baseball. You never know what you're going to get. And going back to Cam Smith, he had he was fouling off some pitches, and he got a good pitch, and he waited for his pitch and got that single, got an RBI. And also, we can't forget about Jeremy Pena. Jeremy Pena deserves to be an all-star. I know you voted for him, but I don't know if people across baseball are going to recognize what he's doing. But not only is he batting .318, .870 OPS, he had a 3-hit game today. He had a big RBI double. Yeah. He also had he actually had 2 doubles today. 2 doubles, yes. But he's playing great defense. This guy is emerging. I know earlier in the year we talked about him becoming a star, but he looks like he is becoming that superstar for the Houston Astro. And Isaac Paredes. This guy is, I think, better than I think what the Astros could expect it. The 252 batting average, it may not be the best, but the 821 OPS, the
Yes,
14 home
that's
runs,
right.
which is leading the team. This is another multi home run game. He's just getting it done this year, and it's always to left field.
Oh, yeah, this guy's poolside power all day. This guy's not going to hit an Oppo Taco to save his life. But if you look at the win probability leaders, despite the 2 home runs, the win probability added leaders was Jacob Melton, Framber Valdez, and Cam Smith. Now, there are different, metrics and numbers that they use to do this, but you love not only your veterans that have come in, like Isaac Paredes coming in and contributing as he's done all year, but I think him and Jeremy Pena are the MVPs behind this offense. The wins, there's a lot of wins credited to these guys, Eric. And when you look at the box score again tonight, they didn't score till the 4th inning, but it wasn't the 6th or 7th or 8th inning. Now, the Astros are great, Eric, when they hit late in games. And I talked this morning on the show. The Astros are in desperate need of more long balls because when you look at their rankings, Eric, in the league, when you go to FanGraphs and you start looking at, let's see, they've grounded into 50 double plays. They're 26th in doubles coming into tonight. They're 17th in home runs, 21st in runs. They're 24th in walks. That's not good. Now, the strikeouts not terrible, but the OPS are only 15th. But it's just like this team, their problem is the offense. And can it produce on a consistent basis? And with playing with being 12 and 22, I believe, with scoring 3 runs or less, you've had over half your games where you've scored 3 runs or less. So games like today are important. I don't care if it's against the Pirates. You need more home runs. You need more RBI. You need scoring. You need to get hits 2 out lightning, like Blum calls it. They did a lot of that. Isaac's second home run was on 2 outs. Jacob Melton's was on 2 outs. Most of the runs were scored tonight were on 2 outs. So you need that. You need more runs. You need more homers, because if they don't, Eric, I don't know if they can sustain a long playoff run. If they can get hot at the right time, this team does have potential to do damage on the scoreboard.
Yeah, and going back to your double play issue, the Astros have struggled for, I would say, about 3 years, 4 years with leading the league or being at the top in double plays. That typically is a good thing. I know it sounds like, well, it's not a good thing, but that means they have had a lot of runners on base, and unfortunately they ground into double plays, but that's a byproduct of having runners on base. So the fact that they're having these runners on base is better than not having the runners on base. And I know you have to kind of look at it with a grain of salt, but it's you would rather have them hit the home run, but it's better than striking out.
But it's not necessarily about the home runs at that point. Yeah. It's about putting more than 3 runs on the board, because when they put 3 runs or less on the board, they lose. So that's the thing, Eric. They've got to get those guys, even though they're on base. That doesn't matter to me. What matters to me is who's getting home. What are their total bases? Like, you know what I'm saying? So that's really where the rubber's going to meet the road. The pitching staff has held this team together. The back end of the bullpen, the middle bullpen, the starters, they are the MVPs of this team. Right. And without them, you don't have any of the success.
Right. So speaking of bullpen, we'll talk about that next. Thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day.
Look, I'm not sure how tuned in you are to the NBA Finals, but tonight it was amazing. And if you had FanDuel, and if you were new to FanDuel, and you put a $5 bet on the Pacers winning Game 1 in OKC, you would have gotten $200 in bonus bets. Tyrese Halliburton absolutely just did what he does. And the Pacers look like a Cinderella story that is not going to be forgotten for years. And since the NBA Finals are in full swing, the can't-miss moments are there. Whether it's a game-winning shot by Halliburton or a breakout player, there's never a better time than right now. So before tip-off. You can stay in the game, during the game, the trend, same-game parlays, and there are more ways to win and play than ever and win bigger than ever. So again, if you like $200 in bonus bets for free for winning a $5 bet, then FanDuel is your place to go. It is the perfect time to sign up at FanDuel.com. Just place your $5 bet. If it wins, you'll get $200 in bonus bets. Now, I don't know if OKC is going to win game 2 and even it up, or if Halliburton's going to have another game-winning shot at the end. But no matter what happens, you can tune in. Don't ever tune out from tip-off to the final buzzer. Make every moment more with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA.
Hey guys, thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day. It is officially midnight right now, and I know these are two tired podcasters right here, but you can imagine Framber Valdez waiting 3 hours to pitch. He probably could have said, "Oh, you know what? I'm a little tired. I was tired of waiting. I was a little bit. I got warmed up before the game. Maybe just a long rain delay. It kind of threw off my pregame routine." It did not. He went out there 7 innings, 4 hits allowed, 2 earned runs, 3 walks, 11 strikeouts. His ERA on the season is 3.07. He has a 6-4 record, which should be a little bit better, but he's had some games where the Astros did not score a lot of runs for him. But he did not make any excuses today. He went out there, he dealt, he got the job done, and it's great that they asked. Oh, by the way, before I forget, the Astros are considering not skipping, but pushing Lance McCullers back a day, just to give him an extra day of rest.
Hey, nothing wrong with that. I mean, Look, it's all about longevity, and what Lance has given you up to this point is icing on the cake. And with the pitchers that have been down with the injuries, I actually talked about him today on Louisiana radio, and he has been a definite surprise. At the end of the day, you need him to stay in line with what he's been doing. An extra day of rest, there's nothing wrong with that. But you really want to know at this point, when will Arrighetti come back? Because we haven't heard anything. When will Javier come back? When will Garcia come back? We know that that JP France has been sent to the Florida Complex League to start working out there. So we've got guys that are coming in the wings, and we still have guys like, Colton Gordon, who I believe is going versus the Guardians. But Lance, keep doing your thing, man. Take that extra day rest and just go out there and shove. He's been shoving a lot.
Well, going back to Framber Valdez, sorry, I got us a little off task, but I just remember that. I didn't want to forget it. But Framber Valdez, he dealt today to 11 strikeouts, but his curveball was just on point today. Brett,
Yes.
Give us some stats.
Yeah, so this guy, Framber Valdez, he threw basically 69% of his curveballs that he threw were swing and misses. I mean, you sit here and you look at what he did today. He carved up the Bucks. Okay, 26 swings, 18 whiffs on his curveball alone, 4 on his sinker, 1 on his changeup. This got 23 total swings and misses, Eric.
Right.
You got to love what he's doing. That hook is absolutely killing it. That's what got the scouts' attention when the Astros, that's what got the scouts' attention when he was initially scouted. Under the lights of the cars that were shown on the baseball field with no lights at night. And that is going to be the curveball that probably sends him into the stratosphere. But Eric, I don't know that his price is going to be as high as others because he's in the Houston market. I don't know. I don't know, Eric. I don't know.
Garrett Cole didn't make any money. So
he's not going to get Garrett Cole money. He's not. Garrett,
I'm not saying he's going to get Garrett Cole money, but you're saying that just because he's from the Houston area.
no. Well, okay. I see what you're saying, but my point is, I don't think he's going to thrive the way he has in Houston. And I think people are going to look at him as being from Houston as, he's one of those Houston guys. Right. I'm just, obviously, I mean, look what happened to Bregman. I mean, Bregman thought he was going to get a lot more. Tucker, we don't know what he's going to get, but he definitely left Houston because he wanted to get a lot more. But Framber Valdez, look, he's here. I don't think they deal him. I don't think they go out, especially if they get a 4, 5, or 6 game lead. There's no way Framber's gone.
Right.
But the question is, Eric, like, who is going to be gone? Because they said they're looking for another starting pitcher. I don't know who they would trade right now.
I think it depends on does Arrighetti, like you said, does he get healthy? Does somebody step up? I know Michael Iola is pitching really good in AAA, so he could step up. I don't really see Gusto sticking around too much longer. I mean, he didn't do terrible.
He only gave up 3 runs. He only gave up 3 runs.
But 4 1/3 innings. So he's not going deep into games. And with the Astros already kind of having a 6-man rotation, I believe that they still have maybe they're still at 5. But if they're going to be going back and forth between 6-man rotation, 5-man rotation, they're going to need go deeper into the games, especially if they want to keep their bullpen fresh. So the Astros, I think, eventually are going to have to give up on this Gusto experiment unless he kind of finds things out. But just remember, this was against the Pirates, and the Pirates really have a trouble scoring runs. Yes, they scored 3 runs in that game, but it was against Gusto, and so if it was against a team that has a better offense, I think they probably could have scored some more runs. That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay, yeah, I get it. And look, I talked about this today, and I see people mentioning it right now. You are correct, and I have said this before, Mr. Ramirez. Thank you for bringing it up. A new hitting coach isn't going to fix this offense. Brett Boone was hired in Arlington, and they're inventing ways to lose games. They can't win their way out of a wet paper sack right now. Hitting coaches and hiring coaches and firing coaches in the season, that means there's a problem within the system. And I don't know that the Astros have a problem in the system. I think the Astros problem is lineup construction, Eric. I just think that I just think that maybe if we didn't have the GM debacling and the Jim Crane and the James Click thing and all that stuff going on and the little things in between him and Dana Brown, I think if this team had a consistent GM or a Mike Elias, someone that was here the whole time, or Luna was never fired, that this club's roster construction would be a lot more sound. But they're maximizing who they are. They're taking what they have and they're being successful with what they have. I just think that's why you see an offense that's inconsistent, because they're not constructed with a bunch of power hitting guys right now that aren't performing.
Well, we can talk about Jose Altuve's defense at second base, but at least he's not allowing basically a walk-off 2-run infield single. Oh. I don't know if you saw that today, but basically right to Marcus Semien. I think that was Semien. It was right to second base. And basically he couldn't throw the ball and the guy 2 runs scored on that. I don't know how you lose 2-run score on infield single right to the second baseman. How does that happen? Does that happen?
Remember a couple weeks ago we were calling them the bad news Astros.
Josh H. It was Smith, not Semien.
Okay, Josh Smith. Hey, it doesn't matter. It was the second baseman for the Rangers, and you know what? I'm sorry. I love seeing them lose because I heard so much crap on the AOS preview show about how the Rangers were going to have another historic run, and I even try to give Bruce Bochy his flowers, going, maybe, this is the every other year thing. I was thinking, no. And one Rangers fan was like, how do you have the best rotation in baseball and still lose games? And I'm like, you don't even have the best rotation in baseball, but whatever. Hangover 2 seasons ago. Now there is no hangover. Emilio wants to know if he can ask a question before we go, Eric.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead, Emilio. Just throw it up there. Here's some advice. Don't ask us if you can ask a question. That makes us answer 2 questions. Just ask, and if we see it and we can answer it, we'll answer it. Right?
Pretend like we're genies, and you can only get 3 questions. If you say, "Well,
only
can
get
I?"
3 wishes.
Yeah. So the Astros will be playing who next? I haven't even looked yet. I've been so busy this week. The Astros are be playing. Who are they playing?
What are you doing?
I'm trying to look at my screen. Who are the Astros? Oh, they're playing the Guardians. Okay, so the Guardians.
You had to do that.
Well, I couldn't see it. So the Guardians, they have about the same record as the Astros right now. The Guardians are in a kind of more competitive division, so we'll see. But I think this is going to be an interesting matchup. You have Colton Gordon versus LT Allen, who's got a 3-3 record with a 4.22 ERA. Nobody on the Guardians, of course, has faced Gordon. A couple of people on the Astros have faced Allen. Rogers has a home run against him, so maybe he'll be in the starting lineup.
No. God. Oh, Jesus. Oh no, Eric, please no. So basically, look, go to Cleveland, win 2 out of 3, come home, and get back home where you play better than you played the last 3 or 4 years. Home is where the heart is, right? And that's where the Astros are. So I just really hope that they continue their winning ways. A game and a half up, it's nice because it's a far cry from where we were last season.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. This team is a game and a half above the Mariners as we speak. And so you just got to continue the winning ways and just take it one game at a time and just extend the lead in AOS. My name is Eric Huysman. He is Brett Chancey. We are the Locked On Astros podcast, and we will see you on Sunday. And
go Stros. You don't have to say and.
I almost said it.
I don't need the cue anymore. You just say what you're going to say, and then
I almost said it.
I know.